Well, tomorrow, Paul Noel will celebrate 1 year as chief of the Knoxville Police Department.
But before he marks that occasion, Chief Noel is joining us to talk about his first year. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Well, we got to ask, first of all, what's the first year been like?
Yeah.
It's been challenging, but it's also been a lot of fun. You know, this is a challenging job. I was brought in to do a lot of hard work, but it's been an honor to represent the men and women in Knoxville Police Department.
Okay, we're going to break it down. The high point so far in this first year.
So, the biggest, the high point is watching the men and women of KPD, respond to some of the changes. We challenged them really hard when we reorganized the department, getting them more community focused, more engaging with the community. Really proud to see how they responded to that. They've done remarkably.
Well, we've talked about the high point.
Yeah.
Now we're going to talk about maybe the biggest challenge. We won't call it a low point, but maybe the biggest challenge.
Sure, the biggest challenge is every day, fighting violent crime. Public safety is job one for us. And we had a homicide last night, and we're doing a tremendous job in solving murders, but just staying on top of some of the violent crime. The violent crime is a challenge, but it's something that we're up to the challenge, and I'm really excited to watch the men and women of KPD go out there every day and do tremendous work.
I have to think another challenge is bringing officers into the ranks, because this is a challenge that you came from in New Orleans, definitely, and then at other departments throughout the country, recruiting and retaining. How do you address that?
Sure, the recruitment and the retention piece is something that police departments are struggling with all across the country. I think sometimes we overlook the retention piece, and it's a challenge for us to bring people in, but it's also, we have to work every single day to try to maintain the employees that we have, because this is a mobile job market right now, and we're working really hard to keep our employees motivated, satisfied, and happy here at KPD.
Go ahead. You were mentioning earlier, crime, and you talked about that shooting last night. This was a really horrific case where a 27-year-old man who was a driver shot on the road on the west side, 16-year-old passenger inside injured, and a 4-year-old was also in the car as well. So when you're talking about crime, we're hearing things like this happen. What is your overall concern about the level of crime in Knoxville right now?
So, one murder is too many, but I really look at how we respond. We deploy geographically. When that incident occurred last night, we had officers on the scene almost simultaneously from when it occurred. And I look at the solve rate of cases that we're solving, which is at an all-time high. So the officers, the supervisors, and the investigators are really going above and beyond to make sure when these incidents do occur that we bring in people to justice.
Chief, tomorrow you mark the 1 year, as we stated. As you look forward, what are the goals that you have in front of you?
Sure, the goals are, to build systems where systems were never built before, continuing, our efforts of, we reorganized the department in year one, now we're building systems, but also, too, is to, recruit and retain our employees, and to just continue to grow and get better and enhance KPD.
And one last question for you. You're moving into this new public safety complex. How is that going to help you, do you think?
Well, it's first-class accommodations now. So we were going from a building that had a lot of really strong history, but also had really started to outlive its usefulness. So we're going into a building now that's modern with modern technology, and it's just going to make our job so much easier. And it's always great to come to a place where it feels like home, and a new building's starting to feel like home.
Chief Noel, congratulations on the first year. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you.
Thank you.